have the greatest job in the world, and that's working with dogs.
Best in Show winner is the French Bulldog.
Winston won the National Dog Show. It was amazing. It was exciting. And to have a dog to be #1 dog in this country, you have to have great nutrition. And I always fed Pro Plan. Just like us, when we eat well, we feel good. And I just love that food and what it's done all these years to all the dogs I've bred and all the dogs I've shown.
Welcome to Pure Dog Talk. I am your host, Laura Reeves, and this is a really big deal, you guys. We haven't seen an organization grow from the grassroots up in this level in this sport in probably almost 30 years since Take the Lead started. And this group of people that we're going to talk to today, we talked to this spring, ShowSafe. And we have Lindsay Fetters, Diane Moore, who's been brought on board as the executive director, and Jason Hoke that are going to talk to us today about how this great idea that we talked about this spring developed into this incredible resource and organization in the span of 6 months. So welcome, you guys. I'm really looking forward to talking to you. And Lindsay, we're going to have you start first. If I remember correctly, you are the secretary for ShowSafe.
I am. It feels so official, but yes, I am.
Excellent. So you were with us this spring when we talked the first time, and sort of the impetus, right? The originator of this incredible idea. So talk to us a little bit about kind of how we got here from where we were just a few months ago.
It's incredible, really, Laura. And it's funny, as I was logging on to talk to you again, I'm like, wow, it didn't seem like that long ago that we were just in the grassroots phase and sort of thinking through what we were going to do and how we could do it. And can we even do something? So yeah, just as like a refresher, when everything kind of came to a boil back in March, just with our world and things within our sport, I think there were several of us that felt, we're just frustrated because we want to do something. Everyone wants to do something to make a difference. I think at the time, especially, it was very easy to throw blame and throw the responsibility on other parties and, something needs to happen, but it's somebody else's problem. I feel like is a lot of what was going on at the time.
That happens so often, Lindsay.
In every area of our society, right?
Yes.
So I think that we were talking, I know Mary and Carissa and I were talking, and it was like, I had this idea of like, let's promote education. Education can't hurt anybody. Education is, will always be beneficial. Like, let's raise awareness. But then you kind of get to, well, how much can I do on my own? And so, just joining with a group of people, we were all talking about it and what can we do? We were brainstorming. And then through that brainstorming, the hive mind sort of started to swarm, is what I like to say. So Carissa was talking to Angie, and Angie's like, I have these amazing clients and friends that have experience in building organizations. So we brought in Kiki Cortelles, we brought in Edie Rodriguez, we brought in sort of a powerhouse team, and we really sat through, and gosh, when I look back at it, it was such a whirlwind because we were really just going at warp speed. And I think all of us had great ideas and we were throwing everything at it, but we had to take a step back and say, okay, how can we do this? Like, what are we going to be? What are we going to do? Who are we going to help? So we stormed for a few weeks, and we started to develop a strategic plan. We started to bring in resources. We started to sort of form what our mission was going to be. And I think we all can agree that we really wanted to focus on education. We wanted to promote recognizing issues. We wanted to be able to respond to issues. We wanted to be able to restore things once we knew there was an issue. So we kind of came up with our mission. We got organized. Kiki and Edie and Lynn Fitzgerald, like all of us sort of kind of came together to start and kind of sit down at the table and come up with a plan. So we incorporated. Kiki helped us out with that. We're incorporated in Kentucky. And we started to work on our nonprofit status, which we are now an official 501c3.
Which I'm telling you guys, not to interrupt, Lindsay, but honest to God, that short of a turnaround to get a nonprofit status up and running is like hella cool. That is a lot.
It's no easy feat, but I'll tell you what, like they always say it, it's who you know. And just, I think the thing about our history and about us in general is that we all put our egos aside. And, we come from such a variety of backgrounds. You have all ages, you have all interests, you have all levels of involvement in our sport. And so we were able to really look at what strengths does everyone bring to the table and kind of align that with what do we need to get done and kind of run with it. And that's exactly what we've done.
Beautiful. Everyone take note. This is how we do these things. I love it. Okay, so what is the stated mission? And I'm saying it right. It's ShowSafe. That's what we're calling it, right?
ShowSafe is our organization's name. Yep. And our mission statement is to promote a safe and thriving environment for everyone in the dog show community.
Nice.
We are all about positivity and encouragement and a safe space for everyone in our fancy.
I love that. And so is this a good time for Diane to talk about some of the initiatives that are coming?
That would be great.
Yeah, let me jump in and do that. I'm still blown away, Laura. Like the way Lindsay described that, I mean, it is phenomenal what they have accomplished. And when I met these individuals, I was just like, how do I join this? This is amazing.
And you come from outside the dog world, right, Diane?
I do. So I am a former child welfare director for the state of Utah and spent 31 years in the human services programs, where I was a director of both a licensing entity and a child welfare entity during that time. And so my entire career has been about creating safe space. It's been about protecting, empowering vulnerable adults and children. Including domestic violence and including all those things. So yeah, I come with that content knowledge and that administrative knowledge. But the dog show world is new to me, and it's a beautiful world. The animals are beautiful. The people are amazing, committed, dynamic. It's like this little world I didn't even know existed. And I'm a rescue dog owner. So I'm a total dog lover.
We like dog lovers of all kinds. Okay. Everybody is welcome here.
I appreciate the acceptance. But, as Lindsay said, they came and they had a vision and they had an idea about how they wanted to do this. And really, at this point, it's about creating deliverables. It's about boots on the ground. It's about raising the money and the awareness and the energy to actually accomplish something. And, like Lindsay said, everybody wants to do something. They want to make the world a better place. But to take that into tangible steps, this board has done a phenomenal job. So we essentially have 4 initiatives. And those 4 initiatives, the first one is education. And that is pretty broad, yet to be fully developed. But that's going to be education in lots of ways, right? That's going to be promotion and discussion and processing of all the darkness to light, people that are taking that because the AKC is requiring it, right? And then it's also going to be outreach and workshops. It's going to be education for clubs, for juniors, for people who report on the sport or on abuse and neglect. Just all those things where we can educate and just say, hey, look, these are these dynamics and this is how you recognize it. Our tagline is recognize, respond, and restore. And I think recognition is a big thing. And it's funny because as I have told people about my new job, they're like, well, what's going on in the dog community? You know what I mean? Like, they're like, well, that's unique. And I have been, this is my mantra everywhere and with our board and with you, with everyone is, this is in every sort of similar group, whether it's a church congregation, a sports league, you see it in the gymnastics. This is about systems and it's about people. And I don't think there's any stigma at all about talking about this in the dog community. In fact, I think quite the opposite. The fact that we're talking about it eliminates the stigma. You know what I'm saying?
Sunshine, phenomenal disinfection.
Exactly. So it's this really energetic kind of education that's super empowering for everyone. There's no losers with this kind of education because we all have our eyes wide open. We all are looking out for each other. And that's one of the things that really attracted me because communities who serve themselves are the most powerful interveners. Not the government, not outside people, but you guys saying, hey, this is who we are as a community and this is what we expect. So phenomenal and transformative. So that's the education piece. And then I'm super excited about the immediate response piece. And this is maybe the one that maybe your average layperson is like, wait a second, talk to me about that.
Yeah.
But coming from the world of child welfare, it's a really solid sort of support that we're building. So we're going to have a 1-800 line. We have it already, actually, and we can't guarantee
that in
it's
the show notes, you guys.
Yes, so we have a 1-800 line, 24/7. Now we're not an emergency response like 911, so we can't guarantee, right when you call, you'll get us. But theoretically, when you call, you'll get us the bulk of the time. So we're going to have that staffed virtually all the time. And it will be staffed with someone who is trained to listen and trained to say, what's going on? What's your concern? And to assess what you need to create safety. So that could be a mom calling about their daughter or their son. That could be a potential victim or survivor calling about themselves. That could be somebody who saw something, the old see something, say something. It's really just, we're going to guide them to all the right resources. So we're going to guide them to law enforcement or to child protective services, or maybe this person has come along and they don't have their own housing right now because they're dependent on the person they traveled with, right, to get there. But then some terrible thing has happened. So we're going to facilitate and figure out where's a safe place to stay. Who are your supports that we can call? Basically, you could feel really alone on the road, and we're going to make sure that you're not alone, that you have someone to call, and that we're going to help you create safety and get some resources and address this situation. Now, I'll tell you what we're not going to do, and I think a lot of people are confused about this, so I'm going to just get rid of this myth right now. We're not taking names on offenders and making a list and turning people into the AKC. We're really here for those that have been affected or the recipients of abuse and misconduct. That's what it's about. And that's what our immediate response piece is about.
Okay, great.
And can I just interject just a little bit just to emphasize this? This is totally confidential. So our immediate response team is a very, very small team. And even me within the organization, I'm not going to know who calls immediate response, so I want to emphasize that because I think that sometimes people are afraid to reach out for help because they don't know who's going to know, or it is all confidential. Yep. So just wanted to throw that in there.
If what you just want is information, you don't even have to leave your name. It's very confidential. It's very victim centered. It's just very support. And even if you just called and said, I just need information about this, help me, we'd give it to you. So that's, I think, a really neat thing, because especially where you're going to city, resources change. You might know who to call at home or in your own state or in your own community, but you don't know who to call elsewhere. And so we're going to help you navigate that, and what we don't know, we're going to help find out for you.
That to me is huge, right? Hugely important.
Yeah.
A lot of us here the three of us have definitely worked as assistants. and there are times that you're in a situation like, okie dokie.
Yeah.
So it's
exactly.
It's a thing.
Trupanion is revolutionizing medical insurance for pets by providing the best possible experience to our members. And it's not some space-age dream. It's happening now. We pay your veterinarian directly while you're checking out, and we're the only ones who can, which means you have decisions in seconds, and you don't have to wait for reimbursement. So unlike with other providers, you'll keep more money in your pocket. Ask your veterinarian if Trupanion can pay them directly, because there's pet insurance, and then there's Trupanion.
Okay, so what's number 3 on your initiative?
So number 3 is our aftercare program. Now this one's not up and going yet because it's going to take a little bit of time and to organize and also fundraising to help us do this. But our aftercare program is really about, okay, so something has happened. Something has happened to you and you are part of the dog show community and you need some support. So it's not right now, it's not immediate response. It's not like you're unsafe right now. It's historical mostly, but it's impactful. It's impacting you and it's still with you. And so we're going to be there to say, okay, what resources do you need? How do we help navigate this resource world and link you and hopefully ultimately be able to assist you in paying for, which I think is similar to Take the Lead, but mental health resources and survivor resources. And, how do we bring that to you in a way that is, you are in control? It's very, very important for us that all of this is, nothing's mandatory about any of this. It's all about you being in control and getting the resources that you need. And then the fourth thing is leadership development, because one thing, I'm new to this community and I've already heard it. I've already heard that there is a concern. Like I've heard people say, I was a handler, but I don't know if I'd have my kids handle it, because of some of these issues or because of this or that. And I think we want to create a culture of ethical leadership. And it doesn't mean that anybody has been remiss. I think that's the beautiful thing about this whole initiative is it's not like anyone's saying, oh, you did wrong, you're bad, AKC or clubs, or this isn't about labeling or anything. This is about how do we become a best-in-class community? How do we become a best-in-class culture that creates intergenerational growth and intergenerational progress so that our kids want to do it, the next generation wants to do it, so that it's a safe place, so that when you're sending those kids there, you have a community that's looking out for the kids. You have a community that's looking out for everyone, because every single member of the community is valuable, male, female, LGBTQ, not LGBTQ, old, young, wealthier, not wealthier. There are so many different power dynamics in this community that I would never want to minimize this effort by saying it's just about one thing, because it's not. Because sometimes those that maybe the wealthiest or traditionally the most powerful, as they age, they may become particularly vulnerable to exploitation. I mean, there's just a lot of dynamics regarding domestic violence. It's an environment that could allow for human trafficking, because you're going from place to place a lot of the time. And so who's really keeping tabs about where that person came from or how they're being treated or things like that. So I think that's what's really important, is growing this awareness through the education and then this leadership development that says, this is who we are going forward.
I love that. Okay. And so number 4.
That's it. Leadership development.
We got to number 4. Okay.
We got to number 4. I'm done. You listened to my whole spiel. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I lost track. I was so focused.
You know what? There are days I can't count to 3, let alone 4. So, yeah.
Did I mention it's been a busy morning? Okay. Excellent. So, Jason, and I think, you and Lindsay and Diane brings such an incredibly powerful perspective to this that I think is really important. But I think you and Lindsay and I also have perspective that is, we've always taken care of our own, right? And so, that's a thing. Like, I don't know, you guys, Jason, you're from the Midwest, Lindsay from the East Coast. In my area, somebody looks at one of our kids cross-eyed, I promise you, it is not going to end well. This is not a joke. This is real. And so I think let's talk just a tiny little bit, if we could, Jason, about how we take that and apply it to this particular perspective before we get into the membership piece that I know you want to talk about.
Sure. Like you said, I'm second generation, so I grew up in a sport. Many of us have grown up with our parents and even our grandparents taking us to dog shows, leaving us in X-Pens alone, which you couldn't do nowadays, but the sensibility is a little different. But, we grew up feeling like everybody in the sport is our family and that everything is safe. And in the majority of it, it really is.
Yeah.
But what we want to do is be able to teach people things that can protect and educate other parents, other youth, other elders to recognize where shortcomings are in dog shows, in show locations, in areas within the show. There's so many things we can do to educate everybody that go so deep into our sport. And we see it as people that grew up as apprentices, junior handlers. I mean, I came up through every aspect of the sport. I viewed, I always did want to be a professional handler, which I did end up being, but I viewed it as my responsibility to apprentice. And we've talked about this before many times on your podcast about apprenticing. And it is an important thing. It teaches kids animal husbandry and things like that. And there's a responsibility placed on parents to monitor where their kids are going. There's a responsibility on the handlers for correct treatment of the dogs and the people traveling with them, whether they're youth or, in their 20s and 30s. I mean, this isn't like Diane said, this isn't an age related thing. This isn't a sex related thing. This is about people learning better skills to foster a safe environment. That's what it's about. And that's what our sport has so many crevices that we have to look into and make sure that we have everybody educated, on how to better our sport. And, I was a victim. I can say that. I'm not embarrassed to say it. I was a victim of physical violence by somebody I work with. And I didn't have the tools. I mean, I was lucky. I had a support system. I had a person that was my 1-800 number. I called them from a dog show at midnight, and they flew me home back in the day when you can just get on a plane and go home. This is what we're offering people. We're offering them that safety net, and even just to ask questions like Diane said. I mean, we have to be open, and we want people to feel safe, and we want them to feel like there's a place for you to go.
Love that. I really do. I agree with you. We've all been there, done that, seen that, right? Lived through it. So I think that the ability to grow this network and build this framework around it, and Jason, this is a nice segue to what you want to talk about, which is how clubs and individual members of ShowSafe can help build that structure, that framework, right? That whole thing that goes around this.
Sure, and this relates back to some of our 4 features that Diane just highlighted. So we do have the regular membership, and Remy Smith Lewis is going to be handling our membership drive, and we have different levels. And one of the things I was so happy to see once we got it all organized is on the junior level, under 18 years of age, it's free.
Nice.
We welcome you. We want to start fostering everybody to develop these leadership skills, the understanding of how to have a show safe environment. And that's where we start with the youth of our sport. And hopefully that'll foster them into wanting to stay with our sport, continuing on. And, and then we, of course, have all the other tiers of membership. We have a supporter membership, a champion membership, a family membership. We want to encourage families. This is the whole dynamic. It can't just be one person. It has to be the families involved. And I think that's another great tier of membership that we offer that I encourage every family to join, because you have this dynamic of kids and parents and the co-workers at the shows, and everybody should be involved and supportive. And that's why we have that tier of membership. And then we have platinum and lifetime as well, where you can be a lifetime member. And these are the people that, certainly, have the opportunity to donate more money and more time and resources to ShowSafe. And, so that's the individual tier that we have. So that's for everybody to just join as an individual. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to reach out, and we actually have yesterday. So every club, whether it be all breeds, specialty, parent club, please check your email. If you see something from ShowSafe, please open it. Please share it with your board of directors, all of your members, send it out on Constant Contact. I'm the past president of the Great Dane Club of America. I still sit on the board. I'm on the board of the Pekingese Club of America. I'm a member of the American Whippet Club, and I'm a member of 6 all breed show clubs. So you can do this. You can volunteer on a big scale without having to put too much time in. My time's devoted a lot to clubs, but and what we want to do is encourage the clubs to be part of this. And then that's where we can take some of our other initiatives back to them, like education. We're hoping to put programs together to offer to clubs to explain to them how to put on a safe show, have a proper environment, look for the places where there could be risk, and utilize all of our resources to make your clubs function better.
Right. I love that. And I think that that is something that so many clubs, they don't have, this, Jason, clubs don't have a ton of people, right? And so you can't give a person this job, right? Where ShowSafe can come in and say, here's resources. We did this job for you, and it's plug and play. And I think that could be really helpful.
Absolutely. And if you go to showsafe.org and you click on About, and you look at the people that are involved with this organization, we have people that are nationally acclaimed in this very field. So they can help, they're going to help us set up these programs where we can go in and educate clubs on all of this, and they don't have to do anything. We're going to reach out to these clubs, and we want to support the clubs, and we hope in return they'll support us as well, because as you know, for some of the other initiatives like the response and aftercare, that is going to require funding, and that's where we need the clubs to step up. Some clubs have nominal funds available, other clubs have huge resources, and we would hope that clubs will support us through this initiative, because it really is important, and it is something that can have impact across the entire sport just by the virtue of one club helping ShowSafe.
I just think that is got so much potential. And it's just, we go to these dog shows, they're on fairgrounds, there's all kinds of sketchy buildings,
I'm afraid of clowns, so I always feel like there's a clown hiding somewhere. So I would love to eliminate the potential for, we talk about simple things. If you took any of the courses, the darkness to light, the safe sport courses, they teach you about, leave the doors open, little simple little things, then the clowns can't hide back there. So, these are the things that we really want to help people learn, is just, these little tiny minutiae that can protect a child or anyone really.
Anybody. Yeah. I love it. And so I don't know who wants to talk to this one, but I know that this is going to drop Monday. That is the week of Orlando, and you guys have a big push going on at Orlando. So who wants to address that? Is that you, Lindsay?
I can speak to some of it. I think Diane probably knows a little bit more about all of the specifics, but yeah, we're launching in Orlando next week.
Love it. So what do you got on that, Diane?
Yeah, we're going to have a booth, and it's going to be open 8 to 6 from Monday through the following Sunday. Everyone who joins a membership will be entered into a raffle for some items. We have a fun wheel you can spin to get some branded merchandise. But, the merchandise, the wheel, the raffle, that's really all to build the relationships and have the important conversations. That's what it's really about. And, I think that it's been really touching to me, the emails that I've received back since people have heard about us and are starting to, buy their memberships and join and things like that. And it's very clear that it's like a declaration, it's a declaration of sort of who they are and what they expect and what they expect of their community, which I think is really touching. And I just hope it spreads this sort of joy. I think when you hear about this topic, you can be like, oh, is that a little dicey? Or, it can make some people nervous, but I find it to be very empowering. And I think that's what you're going to see at the booth. You're going to see a lot of enthusiasm. You're going to see a lot of camaraderie. You're going to see a lot of people sharing and building something together for their community, which is amazing.
Well, and I have said this for a lot of years. I sort of coined the concept of the tribe, and this is our tribe, and we all are there for each other. And to me, this is just another way that the tribe is there, all of us, for each other.
It's so exciting to have something so positive to offer to a sport that's given us so much. And to have so many people from every different walk of life involved and working towards something that's going to be there for the future of our sport. You know, like I started as a kid. I mean, we all started as children in this sport. And so to be able to give something back and to address something and to kind of take, like we mentioned earlier, the stigma away from it. And, you know, when we own it, I feel like it automatically is less scary. And just to be able to be there with everyone in our community to share what we've been working towards. I know we're going to have a lot of our board members present. So just to connect names with faces, to know that, like, okay, this person's involved, and just to kind of have that in the back of your mind, because nobody ever plans to ever need us, right? Like, nobody says, okay, in June of 2027, I'm going to need to call ShowSafe. But if we're in the community and out there enough, people are going to start to associate, okay, that's a person that's going to be there for me, and know who to go to when you need something.
And you have your ShowSafe buttons. Yes, we still have the pins.
We do, but we have new pins with our fancy new logo.
Cool.
And Diane, I think we are going to have those at the booth for different membership levels. Is that correct?
Absolutely correct. The individual members, clubs don't get a pin because, you know, they're an organization.
They'd have to share it. They'd have to share custody of the pin. But.
We should give them a flag or something. But so we'll have pins at the booth, and you know, it's really, we're trying to make it really easy for people, and you know, every little bit counts. You know, it's interesting because we had to pick a platform, and even though there were platforms that had better databases for the donors and things like that, for me, you know, as an administrator of this program, as a director, we absolutely went with the platform that was the most user-friendly, you know, so that you can give as little or as much as you want. Venmo, PayPal. I mean, it's everything. It's everything. And, you know, and that sounds so mercenary to even talk about the money, right? But the money is sort of, it's got to drive that engine, right? So that we can take care of people. And I'm so passionate about it. And, you know, I've already signed up to be a monthly donor myself because, you know, even though I work there, it's like, I care about this. I really, it's amazing. And so, yeah, you're going to get an opportunity to learn a lot about us.
I love it. I love it. Well, you guys know that Pure Dog Talk is always here for you. Anything you need to get out to the world, let me know. We will post up links and information on the website, you guys, so you can check it out there. Go find everybody down in Orlando. I'm sorry I'm not going to be there this year. It makes me sad, but go for it. Good luck. I am sure that we will see you at New York, Westminster Kennel Club. I assume there will be a presence there, and I'll get to see you there. So.
Oh, great. Well, you've been there with us from the very beginning, Laura, so thank you.
You know it. It's this is, as we discussed, this is a topic pretty near and dear to my heart. So. All right. Well, thanks, you guys. I really appreciate we kind of scrambled to get this together in order to make sure that people knew about it for Orlando Week, and they will come find you. All right?
Thank you so much, Laura.
Thanks, Laura.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, you guys.